My beloved child, before you move on, stay with me for a moment. There is a reason these words have reached you today, and it is not by chance. Somewhere beyond everything you can currently see, someone has been holding on to a hope they could never fully let go. They have replayed conversations that never happened, imagined moments they wished they could relive, and quietly wondered if the silence between you was ever meant to last forever. The title you just read carries a question that reaches far deeper than ordinary curiosity. He is still waiting. Will you answer before it is too late? But this is not about fear. It is about recognizing the value of a moment before it quietly slips away. As this unfolds, clarity will come. Every second you remain here will reveal another piece of a story that has been hidden beneath ordinary days. Sometimes life places people on separate roads, not to end their connection, but to prepare them for a meeting that carries greater understanding. Something huge is waiting for you, and the next few moments may resonate in ways you never expected. Think carefully about the people who have crossed your path. There is often one person whose presence leaves an impression that time refuses to erase. Even after seasons change, memories continue to appear without invitation. That is because genuine connections are not measured by constant conversation but by the quiet impact they leave on the heart. He has questioned whether reaching out would make any difference or whether silence was the kinder choice. Yet every passing day has only strengthened one realization: some words become heavier the longer they remain unspoken. This may resonate as we continue, because many people never realize how close they are to hearing what they have been waiting for. The remarkable part is that life often begins changing long before anyone notices it. What seems like an ordinary moment can quietly become the turning point people remember for years. Now imagine standing at the edge of a sunrise before the light fully appears. The world seems unchanged, yet everything is already beginning to shift. That is where this story truly begins. Waiting does not always mean weakness. Sometimes it is proof that hope has survived every reason to disappear. He has continued believing that one day understanding would replace confusion, that kindness would overcome distance, and that the right moment would arrive naturally instead of being forced. Many people walk away too early because they mistake silence for the end, when in reality it is often the space where hearts grow stronger. Stay with me for a moment, because the next part uncovers why this waiting has lasted so long, and why the answer may be closer than anyone imagined. Before this message reaches its next chapter, remember one simple truth: the greatest opportunities rarely announce themselves with loud voices. They arrive quietly, asking only whether someone is willing to notice them. That is why today's question matters so deeply. It is not asking whether everything is perfect. It is asking whether your heart is open enough to recognize what has been patiently standing at the door all along. As this unfolds, clarity will come, and pieces that once felt unrelated may begin fitting together in surprising ways. Something huge is waiting for you, but its meaning cannot be understood until the next chapter reveals what has been happening behind the scenes all this time. The moment you reached this point, the story became deeper than it first appeared. Stay with me for a moment, because what is about to unfold explains why waiting has never been as simple as it seems. There were countless opportunities to walk away, yet somehow he never allowed hope to disappear completely. Every ordinary day carried a quiet reminder that some connections leave a mark no amount of time can erase. While the outside world continued moving forward, a silent question remained in his heart: what if the right moment simply hasn't arrived yet? Most people never see this hidden side of someone's journey. They only notice the silence, never the patience behind it. As this unfolds, clarity will come. Sometimes life delays an answer not to create distance, but to prepare both people for a conversation they were not ready to have before. The surprising revelation is that while you may have believed nothing was changing, small shifts were happening where no one could see them. Perspectives matured. Old misunderstandings slowly lost their power. Lessons that once felt painful quietly became sources of wisdom. Without realizing it, both paths were moving toward greater understanding. This may resonate as we continue because many of life's greatest moments are built long before they finally become visible. The heart often recognizes change before the eyes ever do. That is why today's message feels different. It carries the feeling that something meaningful has been growing beneath the surface all along. Something huge is waiting for you, and the next part will uncover why timing can transform an ordinary meeting into a once-in-a-lifetime moment. If this story has kept you wondering what happens next, share this video with someone who believes that hope and patience still have value. Subscribe if you enjoy stories that uncover the deeper meaning hidden behind life's quiet moments, because what comes next reveals the part almost no one expects. The next chapter is where hidden pieces finally begin connecting, and the reason he continued waiting becomes clearer than ever before. Before you continue, hold on to this thought: not every unanswered chapter is unfinished forever. Sometimes the pages are simply turning more slowly than we expect. Stay with me for a moment, because the next revelation is not about what has already happened, it is about what has been quietly preparing to happen all along. As this unfolds, clarity will come, and you may discover that the greatest answers are often the ones that arrive after the longest wait. Something huge is waiting for you. A quiet truth is about to rise to the surface, and this is the part very few people ever expect. Stay with me for a moment, because everything you have heard so far has been leading to this revelation. Waiting was never the entire story. The real story is why he continued waiting when every sign seemed to tell him to let go. Deep inside, there was a feeling he could never explain, a calm reminder that some connections deserve patience rather than pressure. While others encouraged him to move on, his heart kept returning to the same thought: what if this chapter isn't over yet? That single question became stronger with every passing season. As this unfolds, clarity will come. Sometimes the greatest answers are hidden inside the moments when nothing appears to be happening. There is something remarkable about hope when it survives without certainty. It begins changing the person who carries it. Instead of becoming impatient, he became wiser. Instead of holding on to old disappointments, he started understanding that every delay teaches something valuable. Looking back, he realized the waiting itself had quietly prepared him for the future. The person he was before could never have appreciated the opportunity that may soon arrive. But now, everything feels different. This may resonate as we continue because many people discover too late that growth was happening long before the reward appeared. The most meaningful journeys rarely move in straight lines, they unfold one unseen step at a time, revealing their purpose only when the moment is right. Now imagine standing at the edge of a doorway that has remained closed for what feels like forever. You cannot see what is beyond it, yet somehow you sense that it will not stay closed much longer. That is where this story stands today. The waiting has not been empty. Every unanswered question, every quiet day, and every unexpected pause has been preparing the next chapter. Something huge is waiting for you, but it is not simply an event, it is a new understanding that changes the way you see everything that came before. Stay with me for a moment, because the next chapter uncovers the sign that finally convinced him the time to remain hopeful had never been wasted. Before this chapter ends, remember this: the strongest connections are not proven by how loudly they speak, but by how faithfully they endure through silence. As this unfolds, clarity will come, and what seemed like scattered moments may soon reveal themselves as pieces of one remarkable picture. The next revelation will uncover the quiet sign that changed everything and why this story is closer to its turning point than anyone imagined. Something huge is waiting for you. Everything has been building toward this moment, and now the hidden pattern begins to reveal itself. Stay with me for a moment, because the next discovery changes the meaning of everything that came before. The waiting was never empty. It was preparing both hearts to recognize something they could have easily missed in an earlier season. There came a quiet moment when he stopped asking, "Why is this taking so long?" and started asking, "What am I learning while I wait?" That single change transformed everything. Instead of seeing delay as an obstacle, he began seeing it as preparation. As this unfolds, clarity will come. Sometimes the greatest gift is not receiving an answer quickly, but becoming the kind of person who truly understands its value when it arrives. Then something unexpected happened. Not a dramatic event that everyone noticed, but a quiet shift that only the heart could recognize. Old doubts became smaller. Old fears lost their voice. A new sense of peace began replacing uncertainty. It felt as though every unanswered question had been leading toward one meaningful realization. Some connections are strengthened by patience rather than weakened by time. This may resonate as we continue because many people believe nothing is happening during seasons of waiting, when in reality those seasons often shape the most important chapters of life. Something huge is waiting for you, and the final part will reveal why this story reaches its true meaning only at the very end. If this journey has spoken to your heart so far, share this video with someone who could use a reminder that hope is never wasted. Subscribe to continue discovering stories that inspire reflection and encouragement, because the final chapter brings together every clue you've heard until now. What comes next is the moment where every hidden piece finally connects. Before you move to the final chapter, hold on to one last thought. The most unforgettable moments rarely arrive with noise. They arrive with perfect timing. Stay with me for a moment, because the ending is not about looking back at what was lost. It is about recognizing what has quietly been growing all along. As this unfolds, clarity will come, and the final revelation will show why the question, "He is still waiting." Will you answer before it is too late? Was never just about waiting, it was always about recognizing the right moment when it finally arrives. Something huge is waiting for you. The journey reaches its final chapter here, but the message is only complete if you hear these last words with an open heart. Stay with me for a moment, because the answer to the question you've carried since the beginning is finally ready to unfold. He is still waiting. Will you answer before it is too late? The truth is that this question has never been about rushing a decision or fearing the future. It has always been about recognizing the value of a sincere connection before ordinary distractions convince you it no longer matters. Some opportunities do not arrive twice in the same way. They appear quietly, asking only to be noticed with wisdom, patience, and gratitude. As this unfolds, clarity will come. The waiting was never a sign that hope had faded. It was a sign that hope was strong enough to endure. Now look back over every moment of this story. Every pause, every unanswered question, every unexpected delay was pointing toward one simple realization: meaningful connections are built through understanding, kindness, and the willingness to keep believing even when the path is unclear. That is why this message found you today. Not to predict your future, but to remind you that every day offers an opportunity to choose compassion, forgiveness, and courage over regret. This may resonate as we continue carrying this lesson beyond today's story. The greatest turning points rarely begin with loud celebrations. They begin with one quiet decision to move forward with hope instead of doubt. And here is the once-in-a-lifetime revelation that has been hidden in plain sight from the very beginning. Sometimes the answer you have been searching for is not another sign from the outside. It is the quiet change taking place within your own heart. When your perspective changes, the world around you begins to look different as well. The waiting no longer feels empty. The silence no longer feels meaningless. Instead, every experience becomes part of a journey that has shaped you into someone stronger, wiser, and more prepared for whatever comes next. Something huge is waiting for you, not because destiny suddenly changed today, but because you are becoming ready to recognize opportunities that may have been there all along. So as this story comes to a close, remember this one final thought: no season of patience is ever wasted when it helps you grow in wisdom, gratitude, and hope. Keep your heart open, keep moving forward with faith, and never underestimate the quiet moments that seem ordinary today. They often become the memories that matter most tomorrow. As this unfolds, clarity will come, even beyond this video. And perhaps the greatest answer to the title is this: sometimes the most important response is choosing to welcome each new day with hope. Because that choice has the power to change everything. Something huge is waiting for you. Even though this story is ending, its message does not end here. Stay with me for a moment, because there is one final truth that deserves to be heard. Every chapter has pointed toward the same quiet reality: the most meaningful moments in life are rarely the loudest ones. They arrive gently, asking only for your attention. If you have listened from the beginning until now, perhaps it is because your heart recognized something your mind could not yet explain. As this unfolds, clarity will come. The waiting, the silence, the questions, they were never the destination. They were preparing you to see life through a different lens, one filled with hope instead of hesitation. Imagine looking back on this very day months from now. You may not remember every sentence, but you will remember how it reminded you to value the people who bring kindness, encouragement, and peace into your life. You will remember that patience is not about standing still, it is about growing while time moves forward. This may resonate as we continue beyond this moment because every sunrise brings another opportunity to choose understanding over assumptions, gratitude over frustration, and courage over uncertainty. Those quiet choices are often the ones that shape the most extraordinary stories. Before you leave, carry this thought with you wherever your journey leads. If someone meaningful comes to your mind, appreciate the lessons that connection has brought into your life. If a new opportunity appears, welcome it with wisdom instead of fear. If today feels ordinary, remember that many remarkable chapters begin on days that seem completely normal. Something huge is waiting for you, but it often arrives one small step at a time, revealing its purpose only when you look back and see how every moment connected perfectly. And so, my beloved child, this message comes to its peaceful conclusion. Thank you for staying until the very end. The question that opened this journey was never meant to leave you with uncertainty, it was meant to remind you that hope, patience, and kindness always have lasting value. As this unfolds, clarity will come, not only today but in the days ahead. Keep your heart open, keep walking forward with confidence, and trust that every meaningful chapter arrives at the right moment. Something huge is waiting for you, and perhaps your greatest story is only just beginning.